Okay, my wonderful friends, intellectually unleashed friends, we are now going to observe what is observable and determine what is determinable. And I can tell you something right now. This appears to be some form of machine constructed underground and obviously earthworks. Now, what is the earth made of? What is that material? Looks like sandstone or something, right? Well, let's look a little closer. Now, look at the walls. I mean, these are machine cut. Why would they have these things thousands of years ago? This was just this was an unknown, mysterious cave they just discovered, Long U Cave in China, and you can see how magnificent it is, and it is even more magnificent-er than that. All right, now this video, this guy does a good job, Vlad9VT, and he presents things that to me seem to be pretty damn credible. Now, what he's showing here is modern mining techniques versus what's in that cave. Now, that cave is ancient times. And as I said, there is no question whatsoever they had mining equipment back then. No, if you don't think they had high-tech equipment back then, that was it right there. They made those walls in Peru out of that. Look at that. See, they cut these slabs from wet flesh and tendons from giants that were drowned in the flood. I'm sorry, all that stuff was a fact, and we just lost it. And they had look at this. This is a four-wheel, like we have today, tire track. And that was back when, right after the flood. That is tendon, my friend. I know this stuff inside and out. Anybody wants to argue with me, come on. Now, this is in that Long U cave, and as far as I'm concerned, they got something going this way and back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and then they move to the next section, they do the same thing. Now, watch this. I mean, what do you see there, my friends? I see the same damn thing, only that is like last week. The other thing is thousands of years ago. Now, let me just show you something else. Okay, this is from the Vlad LT video of this new cave they found at Long U Cave in China. Now, take your time, slow down, look at this very carefully. You see these cuts. Then you see this. Is this a different type of tissue than this? It has a different coloration. Is it just because it's cut on a different plane? Well, let's look at this extremely carefully. This is where my expertise comes in. I am a careful looker. Now, what do you see right there? What do you see right there? What do you see right there, and right there, and right there, and right there, and all over the place? Now, let's look at them carefully. All right? Let's look at them as close as we can. What do you see there? Well, this dark is a shadow. That is a shadow, 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 shadow. Why is there a shadow there? Well, it appears that there's a tube with something coming out of it, and a tube with something coming out of it, a tube with something coming out of it. Same, all over. Now, what about, you see, I mean, they're everywhere. I understand what this is, I believe. And then you can make your own decision, but I think I understand it. Now I look at this, and I could see where it's possible that it's just cut on a different plane. That's possible. I can't discount that 100%. But I can't say it is 100% because I understand hearts, and I think this is a heart, and there is a ton of muscle fibers, and that's what these are, is muscle fibers. Every fiber of muscle is surrounded by a sheath And these sheaths are where those muscle fibers go in and out. And that's what they can do. Now, why do I say there's a stripes of different stripes in muscle? I mean, hearts? Because of this right here. This is a heart. All right, you can always tell a heart by this black and white strip coming up to a 90 degree on a big wide strip. It's not exactly the same, but you can see there's some patterning to it. But there is also a lot of this separation between ventricles and between the different wrapping, where it wraps like this. I'll show you what a heart looks like, and it does this, bloop, 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 all day long. I mean, or until you die. You see that? This is what's in the heart. All of those are those little fibers I was just talking about. And then there's all of these separations from the chambers and the valves and the aorta and all of that. Hold on. This is basically what the heart is more or less constructed like, but trust me, this is extreme oversimplification. There are thousands of fibers in each one of these, not just big chunks like that. You want to see something cool? This is exactly right there. You see this? Is that. You see this dot, dot, dot? Remember I told you dot, dot, dot? There they are. And you see this little hook? There's this hook right here. And you see this, all this globby looking stuff? That's where the aorta and all that stuff is down at the bottom. You know, it died with this flat like this, so you don't have that architecture so perfect, but this is pretty damn perfect. Now, that's what you're going to see, is a big wide one like this, and then one with and that separates the valves in the heart. Now, this is so intricate, this fibrous stuff. When you look at it, you just see like a smooth looking thing, but trust me, there is a bazillion fibers in there. And that's what I was showing in those caves. Alright, I don't know what this is as far as biologically goes, but there was some kind of an implant here, and then the muscle and the tendons start to take off. This is tendinous material. Then it turns into the muscle fibers, and then the muscle fibers go out to a bigger muscle. This is a very large muscle. It's a very large muscle. And this down at the bottom is all blood. That whole layer, you see this right here? You see how deep that layer goes? It's that deep of blood. And that's all it is down there, is blood. This whole thing is blood. Now, and here you can see some abrupt transitions. There's like 3 or 4 abrupt transitions. I show this very carefully in the microscope, and it is what it is. And that's, you know, get an anatomist, get somebody that understands tissues and biology, and then, you know, I mean, all you have to do is look at it. Honestly, it's not just, you know, I don't want to be nasty about it, but nobody that has any level whatsoever of competence at all can see what I just showed. And if you, as a professor and an educator, turn a blind eye to this, you're a disgrace. I'm serious. I'm sorry. That's just a fact. Okay, my friends, it doesn't get any stranger than this. Israel's former space security chief claims that aliens exist and Trump knows. Now, I am absolutely certain that aliens exist. I mean, anybody that denies that now is not really thinking too well. Let's hear what she has to say, and we'll go from there.
Aliens exist, and President Trump knows about it. That's according to Israel's former space security chief. In an interview with an Israeli newspaper, he said the aliens have been waiting until today for humanity to develop and reach a stage where we will understand in general what space and spaceships are. NBC News chief global correspondent Bill Neely explains this one.
Hi, Alison. Well, this is quite a story, and it comes from the man who headed Israel's space security program for nearly 30 years. Chaim Eshed is making the extraordinary claim that the United States and Israel have been in contact with a group of aliens for years. Not immigrants, but extraterrestrials. He has called them the Galactic Federation of Aliens, and he says President Trump is aware of the existence of these aliens and had been on the verge of revealing their secrets, he claims, but was asked not to do so by the Federation in order to prevent what he calls mass hysteria. Well, a retired general says the US and Israel have kept it from the public because, quotes, humanity isn't ready and the aliens don't want to reveal themselves until humanity can evolve, he says, and understand what space really is. Well, the good news is that he claims an agreement has been reached between the US government and the aliens, a contract to do experiments here. There's also, he says, a secret underground base on Mars where there are American and alien representatives. Now, this former head of a branch of Israel's defense ministry is 87. He was very well respected, at least until now. And he said all this in an interview with an Israeli newspaper in Hebrew, but it's really taken off after parts of it were published in English by the Jerusalem Post today. He says he's come forward now in the hope that his news will be accepted as true. He notes that if he'd made these claims 5 years ago, he would have been hospitalized, but now he says, I've got nothing to lose. Well, so far, President Trump has not tweeted about this, though remember a year ago he did set up the Space Force as the fifth branch of the US Armed Forces. Well, we did ask the White House, the Department of Defense and Israeli officials to comment. So far, they have not responded to the NBC News request, and I wonder if they ever will. Oh.
Okay, well, this is going to give us a little discussion here. There's a lot to think about here. There really is. I don't want to make a joke out of it. I make a joke out of a lot of things, but this is pretty serious.